Props. I love props. It gives you something to think about.
Yes, for sure.
But
I just put my brain through it right there.
and I do want to get more as they do that type of thing. But like the traps and puzzles book, like just even it's not really a prop, but puzzles,
Yeah.
something to get the brain going. And not everyone's into that type of thing, but minis are a thing. You don't need it. You can fill it in with whatever you have sitting around, pieces of cardboard, whatever. They make little tokens that are super cheap that you could use too. But having something to represent your character on a field, pretty useful.
Especially in a game where it's like everything is coded in.
Yeah, exactly.
In the grid, basically.
Yeah, you can do 100% theater of mind games. Like went back in the one episode where we talked about our start. I was playing D&D, swimming around in a pool.
Yeah.
So you can use your imagination. It is a game where you use your imagination, but some people are into the very nitty-gritty, they're going to calculate the angles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
More of a Warhammer thing, but I'm Toby.
And I'm DK.
And today we're going to be talking about theater of mind versus, or also using, battle maps, props, that type thing, what we prefer in different scenarios, and
tangents are encouraged.
Yep. Welcome back to Tangents Encouraged.
So, where do you want to start?
Well, obviously you just burnt through the 3 puzzle boxes that I have over here.
Indeed.
Just to show them, it's just little puzzle boxes that you can put things in and the players can mess with and try to figure out, put notes, it might be something that one of the bad guys stored their, battle plans in, that type of thing, or information on how to defeat a certain enemy, or magic items, that type of thing, or just a bunch of money. But like that type of prop, I know that's not the type of prop for using on the battlefield, that type of thing, but I think we should start with that type of discussion. Like,
just handheld props.
Do you use handheld props?
I try to.
Try to.
I'd like to. Some of the things aren't always, you're not able to always get. I'm not doing a whole lot of homebrew right now, so a lot of the stuff I'm just following the game books and the modules currently. I could certainly make some. I haven't had time until recently to really get into this kind of thing. But I used to do a lot of, especially like the paper and the notes and stuff like that. Really easy, just go get, a font that's all cursive calligraphy, type it out and print it out. A lot of the modules that they have released have some of the props in the back.
Maps, that type of thing.
Yep, maps, that kind of thing. But even like the letters and the notes and stuff
I was
like
about to bring up Curse of Strahd has a bunch of stuff.
Yep. And there's a lot of help out there now too. You can get a lot of that stuff via PDF. When I first got Curse of Strahd when it came out, they didn't have any of that stuff. But now you can go and get just a zip file full of just all the things. So I tried to recently in one of my games, a player acquired one of the artifacts, legendary items in Curse of Strahd.
Okay.
And I was able to go and get the licensed official version of the prop.
Oh, that's cool.
And then hand it to them when they...
What was it?
The holy symbol of Ravenkind.
Okay.
So it's like an amulet on a necklace.
Yep.
It has some actual weight to it. I think they were pretty excited when I actually pulled out the real thing.
You find...
Yeah.
Right?
Hand to them. I think that's one of the parts about giving props is watching your players light up when it happens.
Exactly. And so do you think DMs should... Rather, do you think it should be expected of a DM to have props that people could be messing with, or it's like a necessary tool?
I don't think it's necessary. I don't think a DM has to have
Mm-hmm.
it. But I think it encourages more immersion, buy-in from your characters.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have this, and every time they come over, I put it out on the table, the necklace,
Yeah.
and it's there for them to touch.
Mm-hmm.
They're checking it out. Oh, should I attune to it? Oh, no, maybe it would be better for you. Where
And
they're
then
actually...
they can put it on. You'll know who's attuned to it by who's it sitting next to. I like it. I like it. Like over in that corner, I have that little chest that's full of little magical rings that they can find throughout my worlds, and a couple of them have them. And they got very possessive of them. So like they're in their little somewhere over here. I have that little white cabinet thing, drawer thing. They put them in their character sheet so no one else can mess with them while they're away, which I think is really funny. But yeah, exactly. My precious. Whoa, no. Okay, I think that was short enough to not matter. But yeah, just like those little types of props, but going to the opposite side, for example, Bree, her character in your upcoming campaign that we're going to be recording, she bought little the same like earrings and stuff that her character's going to have.
Okay. Pause. Sorry. I love character props. I can give you pieces of paper and little trinkets and things all day, but when you bring something to the table that's yours, like representing who your character is.
And we're not saying like, I mean, you can. I'm not saying go all out and cosplay as your character,
Which
but
I've seen.
Like I played a monk during one of your one shots. I think it was a Halloween one shot, and I showed up and I had like the ripped off sleeves and belts on my arms, and I thought it was and the knuckles.
Yep.
He was the dentist. Yep, that's right.
Broken teeth knuckles.
But you can go all out, or you can do like, all right, so I'm designing my character. They're going to like whenever they're thinking of something, or maybe their tell for lying is like they'll play with their earring. So maybe you don't have an earring, so now you got to go get like just a little clamp-on thing, if you want to do that. Or if you want to get into the voice of your character, I've seen like voice actors, they'll have a prop that helps them get into it. So it's just real fun stuff like that. I really want to grab something for the campaign, but I can't. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm a astral elf. So I was also thinking some sort of earring, but...
A hat?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. He's like
bracers?
He's like real high royalty, so...
So he's got to keep his hair coiffed or what?
I don't know. Doesn't want that hat hair.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll figure it out. Hers like it's like a full wraparound and it has like the point for the elf ear and everything like that. So it looks like elf ears. But yeah, just like little props. They while they may not actually do something for the game, which they probably will, at least RP wise. It just adds that little bit of extra, you know.
Yeah, the little touch of immersion, the actual being able to feel something.
Exactly.
Before we move on to anything else, I do want to just pass over Beetle and Grimm's. You just looked at it? Okay, so Beetle and Grimm's is this officially licensed D&D products. So they'll go through... They've done some of the past campaigns, but every time there's a campaign that comes out, they'll curate a box. So... the last one they did, which I actually have at home, is the Feywild book. I guess that's not the last one they did.
Wild in the Witchlight or whatever?
Yes, Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So they make this box. The actual book is 6 chapters long, so they take each of those chapters and create a small paperback version of the book.
Okay.
Put it in there. Anyway, moving on to the props, they put a ton of props. It's almost basically the whole entire gimmick of their company. It's just... So you open this box, it's probably 10 pounds worth of, it has the whole book in there, and then it has every paper prop in the whole book.
That's awesome.
And you can get crazy wild things. They're super expensive, of course. But one of the setups comes with 4 sets of like backpack shoulder wings that those
like the little kid ones? Or?
Yeah.
Nice,
the butterfly wings, because it's an actual thing when you go to the fair. No spoilers, because it's in the first 10 seconds of the adventure. Okay. When you turn your ticket in, which they have prop tickets as well. Okay. But when you turn your ticket in, you get these little fairy wings to put on, so that everyone knows that you paid. It's basically your stamp to get in.
And the nice thing about like that is you can say if you don't have time, you could just go get that. But if you do end up getting some time to prepare for the session more than you normally do, you can make all that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
like little paper props, easy.
Yeah. Oh, easy for sure. But yeah, just to shout them out. If you're not looking to make it, if you're looking to go, I don't want to say the easy way because working for money is not easy, but you have to pay for it. It can be quite expensive.
The lesser time consuming way.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, some of the stuff they have is nice, and you can buy like after they do the module, they'll come back and release all of the items individually. So like the necklace, which I actually got, you could wear it as a genuine necklace. The amulet on it is probably like that big around.
Okay, yeah.
It's like $20. So not too bad, but I think a lot of the stuff that they make is pretty nice.
And in our other video, we're talking about like I think we did homebrew rules, but like just having a little coin to let them know like, okay, so you did the recap, you roll d20, evens you get the inspiration die, odds you get this guy, and you flick the coin over to them. They can spend that when they want, and it makes a nice sound, so it's like, oh yes, I have the thing.
Yes,
but
people like things.
Exactly.
People like things.
Especially when it makes a nice noise too.
Yes.
I think that's why fidget spinners were so common for so long. But yeah, just like non-game changing props,
Yes.
Like, it's just things for fun.
Exactly.
I mean, we're here to be nerdy and have fun, so might as well dig in,
Yes. 100%.
But moving on to let's switch it over to Theater of Mind. Have you ever done full campaigns or full like one shots or anything like that, Theater of Mind, or just sections, or do you only do Theater of Mind in certain circumstances?
So certain circumstances, I would say, as the campaigns that we are currently in, as we get higher and higher level, I'm tending to go more Theater of Mind when the combat is going to be like.
Okay, thank you. That's
over?
the very first thing I was going to say. Like, I really like doing Theater of Mind, but when I'm doing Theater of Mind, I generally, like, I'll have them all roll initiative. I'll still put people in initiative order.
For sure.
Sometimes, but
Yes.
their turns then are, I go, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And if they can't come up with something they're doing, I move on very quickly. Because it's Theater of Mind. Like, you don't have to roll. You're not going to be doing anything like that. Just like, what are you doing? You know? But Theater of Mind, you don't want to be constantly changing a battle map out for room to room type thing, or time trials. Unless there's certain traps in certain areas of certain floor tiles type thing, time trials are great things for Theater of Mind, because like, all right, you're running down the hallway, a pit opens up right in front of you, and you need to get across the hallway as the lava's flooding in behind you. What are you doing?
Right.
Okay, we're casting fly on everyone getting across the hall. Cool, you start flying across, a rune pops above, all of your fly spell drops as you cross the pit. What are you doing? That type of thing. It's like rapid fire, gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking on that, dungeons, it'd be nice to lay out a dungeon as a full tactile thing in front of you, all the little pieces, everything assembled, ready to go, but that's not really reasonable for most people.
Unless you would have to have somehow like in another room with a big enough doorway to get it through it pre-built before, and then get it into the room when they get there with it still covered. But now, like, how are you covering it? Like, they'll be like, okay, well, clearly there's something over here,
Right. So, I mean, yeah. So doing, just like a small room when the combat is important. I just went through a dungeon where we didn't do really anything at all. I think there was one area or two areas where we needed the combat, but it was like a really high intense moment where we like need to be precise. But other than that, it's just like, especially when you guys are cracking heads at this level, it's just like, there's no point to lay down a whole map.
Well, also, you can use props to help with Theater of Mind as well. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but like I think I put the picture in Discord with the TV. It had the boat going through the astral sea, and it was that entire thing was one character. There was no other people there. It was just him, and he was kind of like reliving a memory, but also in an alternate timeline where he could have stayed and been with all of his friends that are now dead, but he could have stayed, and he almost did.
Yeah.
He almost did,
Yeah.
and but it, man, that was so good, so good. But all the lights were off. The only light in the room was the astral sea going across the TV.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know that everyone else in the group was crying while this was happening.
no.
And it's just me and this
Or,
person
oh, yes.
having what's that?
I said, oh no, but actually, oh yes.
Yeah, exactly. And like they were joking around I thought they were joking around with how sad it was because I had sad music going and like it was crescendoing at just the right moments and everything, and they kept commenting on it. And then finally, the person that sits right there, I heard her sniffle and go, "I need a tissue." I'm like, "Oh,
This is real.
this is real." And it's just
Yes.
like I don't want to make people cry, but these like it was sad, but also like tears of joy all at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
Okay, if you're Dungeon Master, you want your players to cry.
Exactly.
You
exactly.
do. It's the number one. It's the number one goal.
Mm-hmm.
You can make them laugh. You can make them feel feelings. But when someone actually has tears dripping from their eyes, there's no.
You're everyone's in the story, and we're not saying like tears like they're upset like.
No, yeah, they're not bawling. They're just like, oh my god.
The
so
story's so good that they are immersed type
Yes,
thing.
yes.
Oh, it was so good.
Yes.
But yeah, just like having that aspect going on helped the theater of mind, because I was describing like the portal that was open up in front of him, the little globules of light that were leading him through the forest, and then they opened up into a portal. Obviously, I can't make props for that.
Right, for sure.
But when he finally like tied himself to a tree and made his way out into wild space and started floating around, I'm like, this calls for the map that I have.
Yeah.
So I threw it up on the TV, and my goodness, and it's the animated map. So like, there's whales off in the distance and squid and stuff. Oh.
But you didn't use it as a battle map. It was just
No, it was just for that.
Just yeah. Just
But
okay.
it was so good,
Yeah.
so good. But yeah, it's just like theater of mind can all be theater of mind. It can literally be you describing things as good as you can using other Man, there was just a webpage I was looking at that it's a subscription service, and you can type in keywords, and it'll form a paragraph of very detailed about whatever you're looking for.
Describe.
I think so. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I think that's it.
Not
But-
sponsored.
No, I wish. No, but I do like coming up with my own stuff though. But
For sure.
yeah, I saw a commercial for that. I think, or an ad, a commercial. Yeah. Jesus.
Well, yeah, whatever. It's same. It's same. But yeah, that is a good website. I've looked at them a couple of times.
But yeah, like just having physical props for theater of mind helps, because things are nice.
Enhancement for sure. Yeah, people like to touch things. It's a thing for sure. I do a lot of my online gaming theater of the mind. You can get into virtual tabletops.
Which
Roll20 and what's the other one?
I use Fantasy Grounds.
Fantasy Grounds.
Which because I've done Fantasy Grounds for so long, I am very good at getting the characters where they need to be on the map and getting the maps changed and everything like that. And they've added in the characters can only see what their characters can see. So
oh yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So they added that into the latest version.
It's just I haven't had the time. Maybe I'll dive into it, but previously I just haven't had the time to like. There's a little bit of a learning curve there to really get.
What about that one that I have the beta of, the one where I could actually build the world?
That one's a really nice one too. That's actually coming up.
Yeah,
Like
it might
right
be
now.
out,
Yeah, I think it is.
but that's a learning curve.
Yeah. What the hell? I can't remember
There's
what it's
no at least when I was doing it, there's no like, you don't get any of the modules or anything in there. You build a 3D world,
called. Yeah.
and then you have to use something else to play the game. I mean, you can roll in the game, but it won't have your modifiers. It won't have any of your character
I'm
information.
trying to think of what it's called. I think it's the same system that is being used on Dimension 20. You're familiar with Dimension 20?
I haven't watched.
It's like a College Humor spin-off.
Okay, yeah.
Brennan Lee Mulligan runs this. Okay, so he had one of his recent campaigns just before I can't remember anything today. I really can't.
Can you describe it?
Spelljammer.
Okay.
Just before Spelljammer came out, they decided to do a space campaign using some Star Wars rules, SW5E, if you happen to know what that is. And they used that same program that you were using, but like for all of their battles. Like that's what they were using. Everyone had a tablet, and they just played on that.
How'd they get it on the tablet?
I have no idea.
Interesting, because I think the one I was using, it's only on...
And they could take the digital versions of their HeroScape models and import them into
HeroScape. Hero Forge?
Not HeroScape. Great game. Hero Forge.
Yeah, so the one program I use, you can do that as well. You got to pay to have it transferred over.
For sure. Yeah, you got to buy the miniature or whatever to get it converted.
But speaking of, I still need to do that for the upcoming campaign.
But now we have like almost this third kind of area where it's virtual tabletops are in the mix with this theater of mind and whatnot. So I do a game that's every other Wednesday, and we do strictly theater of the mind.
That's kind of cool.
The whole thing.
That's cool.
I would say all but maybe one or two of the players wants it laid out. Just hard to keep track of everything. But other than that, it's been pretty good. I think there was one or two major battles where I pulled out a second camera to have a battle cam for an actual physical map, but doing Theater of the Mind is worked pretty well. Like you said, I mean, starting out with D&D is basically all Theater of the Mind.
Exactly, yeah.
It didn't have like the miniatures and stuff.
There are, like I said, there are people that they'll read the rules and they'll be like, okay, my character can move 30 feet. Like, yeah, but what do you want to do in Theater of Mind? They're like, oh, I want to run over. They won't be like, I want to run over that guy. They go, I want to move, 30 feet that way, type thing. So, like, how close do I get? Like, get to him, I guess. How many feet of movement do I have left? I don't know, 10, 15?
Yeah. So how do you do that as well? So that's a whole nother thing of Theater of the Mind that branches off. So
generally, I have I'll know the battlefield, and I'll have. It all goes based off of when they ask me how far away are they, and I'll go 120 feet, and the wizards all go sweet, and the rangers all go sweet, and the fighter goes, damn it. And he's like, all right, I'm sprinting. I go, all right, you're 60 feet away. Next turn, you can be 30 feet or at them, that type thing. I just keep track of it, and that's it.
Okay, so you do keep track of it.
Yes and no. So once the fighting's actually happening, and I don't have a battle map up, and there's like a horde of undead, be like, all right, you attack this one, it's dead. He's like, all right, I want to go after the one over by blah, blah, blah. Like, all right, you're there. That type thing.
Yeah, okay. So then that I'm going to take a tangent here. So can you Mindscape, what's the words I'm looking for? I cannot think of anything today. Mind Palace, is that the words I'm looking for?
Oh, you're thinking of like, where you can like recall things very well, like how you organize stuff.
Yeah, like okay, so when I'm playing Theater of the Mind, I can like put a horizontal plane in my head and move pieces. Basically, I'm moving the pieces on the battlefield in my head. So,
I haven't tried doing that, but the way I organize things, I can generally recall stuff like that pretty easily. Like I think I've gone over this before. Like I have subject. Down one, in one, subject, that type thing. But then I can back out and go down in the same tree, go down another one, and then or I can back all the way out, go to a different tree, and keep going that way. So I guess that's how I do that. It's like, okay, D&D, battle map, like that type thing.
Yeah, okay.
Vonnie, 25 feet, go back.
So mind files instead.
Exactly. And I think I get it because I'm from IT,
you know? You do a lot of computers, for sure.
But, I do mind files, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where some of the disconnect comes on Theater of the Mind, especially in the battle. I mean, it's really all Theater of the Mind is. I mean, the whole game is Theater of the Mind, and then battle comes, and then is it Theater of the Mind, or do you switch to a battle map? Is usually how it goes.
So I'll give you a good example. How do you run Greenest? The Greenest encounter right at the start of the game campaign. It's right there, very first thing they run into. Greenest is under attack. It is a huge place. Buildings are kind of scattered. You're not going to have a map for that entire area. So, okay, they just got sent from the keep to capture someone, save the windmill, save the church.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the church. Are you going to have a church map ready to go? Or,
right, for sure.
or are you just going to be like, all right, you're running up a hill. There's a wall. There's a short, hip-high stone wall going around outside of it. Smoke coming from the front end of the building. 2 groups of enemies doing circles around the building. And 2 guys standing near the back door. What do you do?
I play Dungeons and Dragons so much because now I can do the mind map, the mind
yeah,
I can lay
You're at the
Greenest
base
out
of
in
a
my...
20-foot high hill, that type thing. Yeah, Greenest. I can picture the map of
Yes.
Greenest. Yeah.
Here's the lower part. Church is over here.
I think the church is my favorite part.
And you go over the little bridge through the little wooded area.
Mm-hmm. Or you could every group I play with takes the river. Every single one.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone always cuts through the woods for me.
Oh, they take the river all the way over and then they come up from the backside, at the back door. Every time.
Interesting.
I don't know what I describe differently, but I think they all try to be as sneaky as possible, so they take the river.
Okay, fair enough. Because all my players just want to thrash through the waves of kobolds.
They're level 1. They're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have I did tangent again, but I did have a group show up, see the situation that was going on,
and just dip.
Yep.
There's a blue dragon. I don't blame them. They're like, all right,
okay,
we're on our way.
Oh, here's this book. I'm done with that. Now what?
I mean, have them go in after the carnage is complete. More people died, no loot
They
left.
just didn't care. They were evil.
Oh.
They were evil campaign.
Yeah, you can't start an evil campaign with going to Greenest. You gotta do something different.
Well, in an evil campaign, you have to turn your mind the other way.
Mm-hmm.
See, the good guys would see a village being destroyed, or the people would just see a village being destroyed. Oh no, what's happening?
Bad guys will see an opportunity to loot as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I used to work at another place, and a couple of the people there wanted to try D&D, and I'm like, all right, so what type of game do you want to be? Are you gonna lean more neutral, more good, more evil? What do you want to do? And they're like, we'll probably lean more good, blah blah blah, that type of thing. And I had a whole thing how they all introduce to each other as they're on their way to Greenest, and then they crest the hill and they see the smoke rising and that type of thing, and all of them go, nope. I'm like, what do you mean no?
Yeah.
They're like, no, that there's a ton of fighting and stuff. We can't handle that. I'm like, I gave you a choice of a couple campaigns, and this is the one that you picked to be good. This is what's in front of you.
Yeah,
I mean, we can go a different way if you want, but
good people would run in there and try to help who they can.
Yeah, you don't have to fight. You could try to just save people.
Yeah.
Get them out of town, that type of thing. But yeah, that one didn't last too long.
Yeah.
Not the group, the game. They quickly fell out of it. But.
For sure.
But what were we talking about? Theater of Mind.
Yeah, so let's move on to miniatures and
okay.
stuff in the actual battle supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, tons of miniatures.
Yeah, I hate miniatures. No.
Can't you tell?
Yeah, I actually throw these at the wall every time. No. I love having minis. Obviously, I prefer higher quality, but I also buy the bulk stuff because it saves you money. It does. And they're not horrible. The quality, this one's a little stupid looking. It's a sea serpent.
It's just silly looking.
It's stupid looking.
Yeah, well, yeah, but in a silly way, it's.
Yeah, and then I can't reach oral back there, but
Oh, I don't even think I want to try. No.
I got her. But and then you get crazy crap like this. It's spend the money if you're going to get minis. Spend the money on high quality ones for the big bads because
that's really about it.
Exactly. Yeah, your group will be fighting hordes of undead, kobold, bandits, berserkers, that type thing. Wolves, werewolves, and then they'll be sneaking through the marshes or whatever, sneaking through the snowfields trying to find a tower that is, long buried, and then they see the familiar look of an owlbear, which if you guys have, or if you've ever played Rime of the Frost Maiden, you can get people that are, their secret is, it's not Littlest Yeti, it's Owlbear Whisperer or something like that.
Okay.
Basically they can roll a animal handling check, and if they succeed, it's real low, it's like a 12. The owlbear will go from, if it's aggressive, it will go to neutral to them, and if they do it again, it goes from neutral to friendly. So they can literally walk up and scratch its cheeks and stuff like that. Wow. And my group loves that shit. Like, they're big animal people, but they're walking through the forest, or not through the forest, through the snowscape, and they see a familiar look of an owlbear up on the hill, and they start making their way towards it. They start getting closer, which in this game it's perpetual darkness up there. Mm-hmm. Start getting closer. This owlbear's watching them. They get closer. This owlbear has antlers. They get closer. This owlbear's 6 times as big as it's supposed to be. They start going, oh, and I go, roll for initiative and put Oral on the field, and they go, what is that? Right? Yeah. And I've actually done that enough times where every time when one of the characters gets here, puts all the stuff down upstairs, comes down, and inspects the shelves.
See what's new.
It's like, what'd you get?
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing. You got something. No, I didn't. I haven't bought anything, I swear.
Yeah, I mean...
Printed some things, but...
you could use, you used to use, tokens and little small pieces of paper.
Yep.
To represent miniatures, but now, as adult, I can, buy a bunch of miniatures.
Exactly.
It's really nice to have the miniatures that represent the thing that they're supposed to be, for you and the player.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to keep track of, and the player feels that a little bit more of immersion when they see the character that they're supposed
Especially
to be
when they're using, actual, like a to scale mini, they're 5 to 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And then you drop a 200-foot wingspan dragon in front of them, and it's it takes up half the battlefield, and you go, oh, we are that weak.
Yeah, you're little.
We aren't the hot shit we thought we were.
Yeah, and I mean, like you're saying with Oral or any of the big dragons that are here,
yep.
Or if the model is intricate, it doesn't always have to be a big one.
Yeah.
But usually big ones, you get that effect. Intricate ones will too.
I mean, big ones like the statue of Waterdeep. It's not intricate. It's just big, and it gets people's attention.
Yeah, when you put it down, people are, you get that little bit of reaction where they're like,
all right, this just got real.
Yeah, yeah. I think the one group is immune to seeing me put down dragons at this point.
Yeah. We're a bit of dragon hunters at this point.
Yeah, but the first couple times they were just like, what?
And I don't know if my group's going to watch this at all, but Bree might. In Rime of the Frost Maiden, that game that's going on, they saw that dragon, 10 times in the first 10 sessions, and they haven't seen it since. They haven't seen any dragon since. So,
sketchy.
It's coming.
Yeah, sketchy for sure.
Oh, no, sorry. The Charlatan dragon, which isn't a dragon. It's not.
It's a construct.
It is a construct.
Yeah.
Stupid. Don't call it a dragon, then.
It's supposed to look like a dragon.
I mean, it does. It looks really cool. But, yeah, just having minis to do that. Because, be like, oh, you see a winged beast up in the sky. Can I see if I can see detail? Yeah, roll perception, natural 20, and they have plus 8 or whatever. Like, oh, you see.
Yeah. This.
They go, oh, why does it have a saddle? Don't worry about that.
Yeah, because, I mean, even with Theater of the Mind, I mean, you can get really into detail and stuff, but, you can say whatever you want. You can say how big the dragon is, but until you actually put it down next to their to-scale miniature, then, they don't really have, a size comparison to really look at.
Speaking of minis, to go off on another tangent, why can't I get a to-scale rock?
I was just looking for one.
An ROC, right? Rock?
Yep.
When they reach adult, not even they keep growing, you know. Adults have a 200 to 500 foot
This
wingspan.
is what you do. You go to the taxidermist, and you get an actual eagle.
You get an actual eagle, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, that would work.
I'm,
But, I mean, like, a rock puts a dragon to shame in size. It's insane.
yeah.
Also, that's what Arl rides around on.
Well, and they're coming out with bigger and bigger miniatures. I mean, you know, the walking statue here is one of their first
Bigs.
big. I think it is their first really big miniature, like colossal size miniature.
Yeah. Which, by the way, stupid cheap for what that is. I think it's $70 or $80.
Yeah, I think you can get it even cheaper on Amazon, but was it that much when it came out?
I don't know. I didn't get it when it first came out.
Oh, I was gonna say I think it was a little bit more. It was like near 100, but yeah, I think you can get it. Yeah, $60 now, which is not bad.
That's what I think the white dragon is, right? The big white dragon, the ancient white.
It was $120.
I got it for less than that.
Yeah, that's what it was when it came
when it
out
first
retail,
came out.
retail for sure.
But,
If
like-
you're on Amazon shopping, everything's gonna be a little bit cheaper because they got a big ass warehouse full of them.
But also like the Tiamat, the new Tiamat one, that's $400.
Well, they've
plus.
increased the price on all of their
Yeah,
miniatures, but yes.
But Tiamat came out and it was $400. I think
Yep.
it was $420, and
Yep.
I made the joke like, of course it is. It's $420. But yeah, that thing is massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
Which, speaking of the Tiamat Mini, I found another one on Etsy for about $100 less, and it's I went, Bree, how tall are you? And I think she's like 5'3", and I'm like, oh, so this will come up to like your waist. It is 3 feet tall.
Damn. For what?
It's like 350 or something.
No,
like
what is this?
Tiamat.
Tiamat?
I'm like,
My Tiamat's only like, I have.
the original one, or do you have the $400 one?
Oh, okay. First of all, the original one is a fucking joke.
That's why
That's
I
a
didn't get
fucking
it.
joke.
It's
No,
like $80.
I have Bones
Oh, that's
Reaper
right. Yeah.
version of Tiamat, Model Jakar.
I gotta see that thing at some point.
And it stands, it's probably like that tall.
Is it like hunched though, so it isn't as tall as it could be if
Yeah.
it was standing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the heads is a little bit higher, and then, yeah, it's kind of like standing on some rocks or whatever.
Yeah, that 3 foot tall one. I was like,
That's a monster.
I was like, no way. And I'm like, how much? Like, I used to do tile for a living, so I know 12 inches of the foot, and it said 36 inches at its height, and I went, no, it can't be. And they put it, so how they showed it is they took a can of Coke, and they put it down next to it. Yeah.
That's too much.
They put a can of Coke down to it. It was like one of its legs, and I go. So they put 5, and it was still up to like here on it. I go.
Jeez. That's massive.
It is huge, but it, doesn't come assembled. You got to paint it all. It's not primed or anything.
For sure.
But
That's the cost you pay when you get some miniatures. You have to do some work to get them to be where you want them to be.
I could just imagine if I had Caitlin paint that. It would be insane.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, anything else on these topics here? Good.
For players,
Yeah.
find a mini you like for your character. Because if you buy something for your character that you actually don't end up liking, if you're kind of on the fence about it, don't get it. Because you want something that you're going to like. It's going to help you kind of connect with your character type thing.
Yeah.
Like, my very first mini I ever bought was a lead mini.
Yep. Yeah.
It's sitting right up there, and the reason why I got it is it looks like, if you've ever played Warcraft 3, it looks like the Kel'Thas Sunstrider from Warcraft. It's the Blood Elf leader wizard guy. But anyways, looks just like him. He's holding a helmet, has a big fire staff, the big robes and everything like that. But oh wait, he doesn't have a staff. Never mind. He's just standing there like that. Loved it. Never painted it. Never primed it. Did anything like that. Until I tried to use it. It had the tiny little skinny base.
Yep.
So you put it down and it goes. Tunk.
Yep. Yeah.
And because of that, I never used it. So maybe I'll have to like glue it onto one of the circle things so it doesn't flip over and actually paint it. But it's heavy.
Oh yeah, those old metal ones are or got some weight to them.
And it wasn't like the zinc or whatever. It was actually lead. Like, it came with a thing that's like, don't, like wash your hands after handling, or, paint it and seal it type thing. So, but yeah, get a mini you're going to like.
Yes.
Because if you put yourself out on the battlefield and you feel like your character just doesn't look right, or doesn't stand out the way you think they should.
I've seen people kind of even deflate when everyone just puts their miniature down and they either spend a lot of money to go get a Hero Forge designed one where it's all colored and everything, or even just something that looks physically almost exactly to their character, and then they come with like a goblin or something, and they're just like, well.
Yeah, just
this
like
is what I'll use, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Or say you can't get one, or your DM brings all their minis, that type thing, and you have to use one of them. Mm-hmm. It's still useful, but
Well, I do it, and I've seen where if you have a dungeon master, that's not a stranger, a regular game that you go to regularly. You can get usually. They'll allow you to just dedicate one of their miniatures, which is what I do. I'll be like, okay, this is the miniature that looks closest to your character. We'll make sure that we have that one for you at all times.
And that's why those two are sitting out over there, because two of my players use those.
Yeah, and I mean, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do.
Speaking of minis, where can I get a good scorpion?
I have one, actually.
Where can I get a good scorpion?
I don't know. You can have mine. You can't have mine.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's like one of the big wild shapes.
Yeah, I was just like, never mind if I use it for a druid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't...
I'll have to see what set it is. I can let you know.
Okay. I can probably find one on Etsy, too. Etsy, it's dangerous, but you'll find some good stuff there.
Indeed.
But, yeah, so if you had to pick, or rather... What do you think in a normal campaign is your average percentage of all three of those?
Of all three of those.
Of Theater of Mind, just fun props, and then actual props, maps, that type thing. Oh, we didn't even talk about like actual physical terrain and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we could hit physical terrain. I mean,
it's similar to minis, having something that you're like putting something on the field that your characters go, oh, okay, I can hide behind this and get cover.
Absolutely.
It just adds to that. I mean, yeah, it's physically there, but it adds to that theater of mind. Like, you can get into your character's head, like, you're sitting behind a boulder and you pop out, fire, and get back, type thing. But
more immersive.
Exactly, yeah.
It can be, for sure.
But,
yeah, I'd say, let's see. I would say for my combats, I tend to try to come with a battle set, like a terrain set up, or I at least have the battle map if I know it's going to be a little bit tricky, depending on the character. It also depends on the players, like how tactical they like to be. But I would say if I was going to percentage it, I would say 40, and then 20 being the like the fun props, or maybe not even. I wouldn't even give myself that much credit. Maybe
45, 10.
Yeah, that's probably closer to it.
I
don't use a lot of props.
Yeah,
I have in the past, but
it depends on the group.
Yeah, and also running multiple games. It's if I do it for one, I feel like I have to do it for all. And if I do it for all, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. But yeah, well, so the nice thing about how I do my props is my props are in the world. So, like the rings and stuff, those are in the world. They can find these things. And if one group gets one of the rings, the other group can't, because it's gone now. They have it.
Oh, wow.
So.
Yes. That I like.
But, yeah, I think I lean more 60%
theater.
No.
Terrain.
Yeah.
Like maps.
And that's not considering like a day shopping,
Well, for sure. Yeah, I was.
This is like combat. I'm thinking.
Combat or like combat scenarios, or like a
65 for actual like terrain, that type thing. And I'm including the battle maps I put on the TV and that type thing. If I don't use that, I have one that I can draw on, or I have the props and that type crap. then 25% theater of mind, and whatever is left is just like fun props. Which I know sounds crazy because I have a ton of stuff, but I don't use it every session.
Right, for sure.
But, yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it, huh?
Yeah. If you guys use any out-of-game props, in-game props, you have any stuff you bring as characters to your games other than your minis, or if you do have minis, where do you get them from type thing? Do you prefer theater of mind, or do you like having a visual where you can, physically move your mini around and see what's going on?
Yeah, and I'd like to know how people keep track of that. How do you keep track of the theater of the mind?
Yeah, that'd be cool to be able to add another thing to our repertoire of how to do that.
So drop any of that information down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Find us on Twitch.
Twitch. Yes.
Find us on Twitch. Generally, Mondays and Thursdays.
Yes.
Thursdays is going to be getting pushed to Fridays now.
I believe so.
Okay, so it's going to be Mondays and Fridays to start the week and end the week. And then we are working on a couple projects. One's going to be, not coming out anytime soon, but it's going to be a pretty big D&D thing.
Indeed.
Yeah. But
I got a new schedule. I'll be rolling out when this episode comes out. It will be this week. This week I have a new schedule. I'll be rolling out. We'll have the information posted previous to this video.
Yep, and your nerd culture on basically everything.
Basically everything, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me, Nerd Culture. Linktree will be in the description. And
I'm Foxtrotter's Forge on YouTube. I've started putting all my Twitch stuff on YouTube. Twitch and Twitter. I think I have a TikTok that I haven't touched in all year, but
get out there.
I mean, it's where I got my most views. But yeah, let us know what you want to see and what you guys do with props or not props.
And have a great game.
And a good day. You did the right thing!
Yeah. I thought about it like 5 minutes ago. I was like, I better say the right goddamn thing today.